The Rams finishing up as the NFC West champions. What about the Chargers? Didn't quite finish up strong to be able to find that last spot in the wild card spot. Find out in the next edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to Sideline Sports Podcast. If you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Finally, we are back here on Sideline Sports Podcast. I gotta tell you guys how many times I have said that. But you know what, folks? This is it. Full stretch. Brand new year, 2022. Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. You know how we do it. You know how we're doing it here on Sideline Sports Podcast. But I am the host, Alex Navek. However, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, a source of your SoCal sports news. And if you're really a diehard, a day one Sideline Sports podcaster, you know the guy right next to me, Hector Aguayo, my cousin, blood brother. Hector, man, you know how it is here on Sideline Sports Podcast.
Oh, yes, sir. It's feels good to be back. It's been a while,
I think the last time you came on was talking about the Rams' new logo, because I see you rocking that old one, and no cap, always going to be the best Rams logo.
Like I was telling you before we started recording, dude, like I genuinely hate it. I think the logo looks like shit, to be quite honest. Yeah, whoever made that stuff really didn't put any effort. I talked to my buddy Matt about it, and we're like, dude, you could have done a better job. It's trash. It's trash. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they tried doing. It looks more of like we're going to represent the city with the Chargers and the Rams with one logo, and that's what came out.
I could see that. I can really see the fact that it's Chargers and Rams on that logo. Like, I mean, you're looking at the jersey right here. I always look at your Todd Gurley jersey, and I'm always thinking that it's clean. There's nothing that's going to beat that typical St. Louis, LA Rams.
Wearing that on Sunday, and I was like, I was looking at the uniforms that they were wearing that day. I'm like, dude, how did we go from this to that? It's like we went from varsity to repping a JV uniform.
Or freshman.
Even that.
I know, it's right there smack in midfield there in SoFi, and I always look at it and it's like, no, it's never going to compare. It's never.
Dude, I honestly when they said that we're going to change the logo, I thought they were going to go back to the one, I think it was in the 70s, that like the skull ram. I thought they were going to bring that one back, and honestly, that's probably the best Ram logo they've ever had. But came out with this, whatever you want to call it, and it's pretty disappointing. A lot of people did not like it, and I was really surprised. Back then when I had Twitter, I would see comments of like every single fan just talking smack about the new logo, and I genuinely thought they were going to change it. You know how like when the Sonic movie came out and they released the first like image of Sonic, and everybody just started like trashing it.
Yeah, that wasn't Sonic at all.
Situation where like everybody's like talking shit about it, and they're like, oh no, F this, F that, this thing looks ugly. I thought they were gonna change it. They're like, okay, well, hey, let's listen to the fans. They're not loving the logo, so maybe we should go back and resketch something, or maybe just stick to the logo we already have. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, they really got to listen to the fans more often and try to go with something that looks good. But, I mean, I think at the end of the day, they're going to go with what they want. And at the end of the day, what didn't look good was that second half to the game against the 49ers. You have a great first half. The the Rams were just on their game. They finished up the first half 17-3. Going to the locker room, you feel good about the game. But, man, what the heck happened in the third? It was just all Niners, and it was just SoFi being taken over by Niners fans. It was just an ocean of red jerseys. What was that?
Dude, honestly, I'm so disappointed in LA fans. At the same time, I understand, but I don't. Because what I'm getting at is the tickets are super expensive. God damn, I don't want to go because it's expensive. And I don't have that type of money to spend a ticket on $500, $300 on one game. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather just stay at home, spend those $300 on beer, get drunk at home.
You get yourself a party at home just watching the game.
Sit next to somebody I'm probably not going to like. Because at the end of the day, I don't like a lot of people. And, I get annoyed. So I'd rather stay at home or go to a bar, spend $100, $150 on beer or whatever, wherever we're at, and watch it peacefully, comfortably, with no problem. Now, the way they played, I'm going to say it, we just suck. Our record is a lie. Because I've sat down and the Rams have yet to beat a good team. They beat the Cardinals, yeah, but was it really the Cardinals or was it a hurt Cardinals? And now we're facing them in the playoffs, in the wild card game, and we're really going to see what we're about. But generally, I'm going to say now, I don't think we're going to do much. I think Matthew Stafford is going to be Matthew Stafford and keep throwing interceptions like he's been doing these past couple of games. I can't remember a game where he didn't throw an interception. I really can't. I don't remember the last time he didn't throw an interception. I don't know what's going on with him where he's just, he has so much pressure for being in LA and everybody's expecting so much from him. But now it's just at the point where, like, dude, God damn it, play football. Start playing smart. Make smarter throws, I don't know what's going on with him, and it's really frustrating because I feel like we should have had a better season. We should have beaten the Titans.
Hands down.
We should have beaten the Titans, not the Packers.
They're too good. They're really good.
I can't. I'm not going to go, Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback in my opinion. Maybe over Brady. Brady just has the rings to kind of shut people up, but, Aaron Rodgers is good at football. Now, losing twice to the Niners, that's just that's embarrassing.
It is.
That's embarrassing. Especially that first game when everybody was hurt and they still couldn't beat them. I'm like, dude, come on. They have nobody. They have nobody. Why are we not beating them? Like, what do the 49ers have that we just can't figure it out?
See, they meant, I think it's the coaching. I don't know what it is, but the Niners always figure out a way. And it's just, as you have always told me, the Niners have the Rams number. And there's always a team in sports that there's one team that has your number. It doesn't matter how good of a game you put out there. That team just always finds a way to beat you. And to finish up the third quarter with, 2-3 rushing yards? I could count it with my fingers right now. I mean, it's really hard to run against San Francisco, but come on, Stafford, he's just been inconsistent, if you ask me.
That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. And, we don't have a running back. Henderson was going, he has his games. But in my opinion, we don't have a solid running back. Cam Akers got hurt. He was doing pretty well last season. Was excited to see him play this season, see what he's really about. Gets hurt at the beginning of the year. Haven't seen him play. Then Henderson takes over, does okay. Sonny Michel doesn't pick up until like 3 weeks ago. But we don't have a running back. And that's like, if you go back to see the years that we had success was when Todd Gurley was 100% and we were dominating people left and right. We would run the ball, and when we couldn't run the ball, we had Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks. When we had Todd Gurley at 100%, we were dominating teams left and right. When we couldn't run the ball, we had Brandon Cooks, we had Robert Woods, we had Cooper Kupp. We had everything and anything. We were dominant. Our O-line was good. Stinky Jared Goff had time to make himself look really, really good. That's what we need. We need a solid run game, and we need that O-line to step it up. We really do. We've struggled in that area for the past 2 years. And, well, now we don't even know what we were going to get this offseason because we don't have any more picks or trades. Or we gave everything up for Matthew Stafford. We gave everything up for OBJ, Von Miller. We just here. And if we don't win the Super Bowl, we're going to look really stupid.
It's a bust.
So 100%. You have Von Miller. You have Aaron Donald. You have OBJ. You have Cooper Kupp. You have Matthew Stafford that was supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Jalen Ramsey. You can't forget that big name.
Forgot about that. My bad. We have all of that. And for what? A good season just to end in the first wild card game against the Cardinals because we can't figure it out because Matthew Stafford can't get going because he keeps throwing interceptions. I think the Rams are going to choke.
If they don't get further.
You can choke. You can't choke. If you have that, I just think they're going to lose. I don't have any hope for them. And even if we were to win, we don't get out of Lambeau Field. Because you know why? The Packers are going to win it all.
If you can't get further than you did last year and get past the Packers, it's a bust. If they get eliminated this Sunday, that's a bust. You got all of those big names in your roster, and you still couldn't make it to the Super Bowl. It's either Super Bowl or bust. I'm just putting it out there. Like, you had to make it. You had to make it. You're hosting it, and if you don't make it, I don't know.
Like, well, LA, the Super Bowl is going to be in LA. The Rams have picked up Matthew Stafford as the season kept going. They kept on picking up people, and they're like, wow, the Rams really, really want to, win this thing. They really want to win it at home. Unless they have something planned where they were just kind of, barely touching the surface of what they really can do, I really don't see them succeeding in the playoffs.
Kind of sounding like the Lakers right about now. I mean, the Lakers are like the Rams right now with all the big names and still can't seem to figure it out either. But, Hector, let's be real right now. This first round in the wild card game is going to be one of the biggest challenges for the Rams because the Cardinals are that good on the road.
And then they're getting J.J. Watt back. So that's huge for the Cardinals. That's just energy for them. They're getting one of their best defensive players back from injury. Their defense is already solid without the guy. So adding him, it's just going to be a pain in the ass. I don't know. I mean, the first game we played them, they looked pretty dominant against us. Pretty dominant. Second game, I didn't watch it. I think I was in Mexico. I didn't really get to watch what happened there, but I know we won. So now it's just – well, look at Alabama and Georgia. They played 3 times. Bama beat them twice. Georgia wins that third one. Now, this is a little different scenario where we each have one game. Now we're going to see who's really about it. I'm a Rams fan. I'm always going to support my team, but it's tough. And it's only tough because that jersey you have behind you is not playing at its best.
And as the saying has been going around, you can't take the Detroit out of Matthew Stafford. And you really want to see a little more Rams in on Matthew Stafford. And that second game, you got to tip the cap to the defense of the Rams, putting a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray. And he was the one that was making mistakes left and right in the second half. But this has to be one of the most annoying quarterbacks that you have to defend, because this is one of the guys that just scrambles out of the pocket so well, just like a division familiar face and Russell Wilson. So if you're the defense for the Rams, it's going to be tough to try to defend him because you think he's going to be in the pocket, he's going to pass. He ends up just scrambling through and just getting yardage on the ground.
Real quick, at the gym today, Matt showed me, I don't know if it's real or fake, but apparently the Rams signed Antonio Brown. It was on Bleacher Report.
Wow.
So
that's interesting. First, Las Vegas wants to deal with all of his drama, and then it's Tampa, now LA.
I don't know if it's true. I hope it's not, because I feel like it's just a waste of space and time, because that man is not mentally healthy. He's a great football player. Don't get me wrong. If he's just here to ball out and do him and, play the postseason and then leave after that, I'm okay with that. But if they're going to, consider signing him, I'm like, no, dude, have you not seen what's happened with the Steelers, with the Oakland Raiders, with the Patriots, and with the Bucks? This man just left the game, took off his pads, said goodbye to a fan, and walked out, dropped a rap song, and called himself a gremlin. If you're okay with that, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what the Rams are trying to do a lot for this season, but not really thinking about the future. And that's a problem, because we don't have a future. We really don't. We really don't. We're not building a legacy. We're building a super team that's supposed to win this specific year, and we're not doing anything with that team. So at the end of the day, I feel like we're just wasting our time with all of these signings. And, I hope we win, but I don't have any expectations.
I think at the end of the day, we're just going to watch the game nervously and expect that Stafford shows up to the big stage. We haven't seen Stafford show up to the big stage when he was with Detroit. Hasn't had very many opportunities, but that's all you can hope for. Rams, Cardinals this weekend. Don't miss out on that one of the wild card weekend games on the heavy slate. But we're going to go ahead and step aside. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Chargers not getting the job done to be able to squeeze their way to the final wild card spot in the AFC, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, a source of your SoCal sports news. We'll be right back.
This is Hector Aguayo, the long snapper for the Santa Ana Dons, and you're watching Sideline Sports Podcast.
And welcome back to the second half edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. Once again, I am the host, Alex Navek. However, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, a source of your SoCal sports news via Sideline Sports Media. And of course, alongside of me tonight, Hector Aguayo, a.k.a. my cousin. He's got you covered for football, guys. If you guys want to follow him on IG, I'll put that down in the description below. And while you guys are at it, give us a follow too on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and also hit the subscribe button down below. I mean, a lot for you guys to do, but one easy tap on all of them. But first half, we were talking all about the Rams, and We're still talking about the design of the logo since that was the last time we had Hector. We were talking about how we're not the biggest fans of the Rams logo. Talked about the wild card game and talked about that game on Saturday or Sunday against the 49ers. So now the Chargers had a task. Go to Vegas. You have to beat the Raiders to find your way to that AFC Wild Card Game.
Dude, and you know what the funny part is about that game?
What?
The Raiders were gonna let the time run out. They were gonna take the tie. Brandon Staley decides to take a timeout because he wants to be an aggressive coach. And the Raiders basically said, hey, F you. You want to do that? I just got to bring my field goal kicker in, and he's going to make it. So you want a timeout? Take your timeout. We're going to go win the game. And at the end of the game, I don't know if it's true or not, but I was watching a video where Austin Eckler's talking to one of the Raiders. I think he was I don't know who it was, either offense or defense, but, Austin Eckler's talking to him, and the guy covers his mouth, and you just see Austin Eckler's reaction was like, what? Really? You were going to do that? So the Raiders were going to take a knee and let the game finish in a tie. But they played pretty good, They kept converting on fourth down. Justin Herbert was balling out, He came in clutch for them. Defense couldn't finish the job, secure spot. No surprise to Charger fans. Once again, they choked. So, and there's not much to it. There's no, it's nothing new. Oh, the Chargers in the playoffs? Well, they're going to choke. Happened against the Ravens. Before that, when was the last time they made a playoff? Besides back in 2018, I believe. I think that was the last time they made an appearance. Before 2018, when was the last time the Chargers made the playoffs?
I mean, you have me beat there.
I think it was.
There's still Phillip Rivers as the quarterback, that's for sure, maybe.
Well, Phillip Rivers was with the Chargers in 2018 when they made the playoffs. They beat the Ravens the first game, that wild card. They beat the Ravens. They smoked them. And then they go up to New England and get spanked by Daddy Brady.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Chargers. They drafted really well to get Herbert, to get Slater, to help out that O-line, and everybody was coming in all right.
But it's Staley's first year as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not a bad season. I, as a fan, as somebody that played sports, I would much rather have a season where we won more than 4 games and, had an opportunity to go to the playoffs than to have a 4-12 season or a 1-14, 1-15 season. For a first year, you didn't do that bad of a job. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the games, I was going over it with Marky because Marky's a Chargers fan. So we were looking at the numbers. The games they lost, excluding the Texans and the Broncos, I believe, the other games they lost were really close and were against really, really good teams. And I think 2 of them were in overtime as well. So they didn't play bad this year. I'm just going off of paper and the numbers that I'm seeing. But they didn't do such a bad job for this guy's first season as a head coach. Justin Herbert's second season as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think they did a pretty good job. Austin Eckler, oh my God, dude, this guy balled out this year. This dude put up numbers for me in fantasy, and I was just happy because this dude would drop 30 points, 40 points, and I was like, yeah, dude, let's go. So I had to keep up a little bit with the Chargers, but not so much pay attention to them. But I think they had a decent season. I mean, they had a Charger season. That's what I'm going to say. They had a Charger season where They didn't do too good, but they didn't do too bad. They had hopes, but then they effed it up themselves. And typical Chargers.
I mean, they always fall short. Like, they always play these great games, and when it comes down to the fourth quarter and just closing down games, they just can't even finish it up. But I mean, when you bring it down to Staley and the way he did it, I have to agree. He did a good job, and with the expertise that he had, and I know he was previously with the Rams too and their coaching staff, so he's coming from
for the Rams. That was a big loss for the Rams. I was kind of upset when he went over, but I understand, at the end of the day, these guys are coaching to be a head coach. He got that opportunity, so he took it. Same thing with Kingsbury. He was at USC, and then he gets a call from the Cardinals, and he said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go head coach and control the team however I want to control it. You could deal with replacing me with somebody else. And it's the same thing. That's what the NFL is. It's a business. Now, they will get better. I'm telling you, I think they're going to be better than the Rams at one point.
That's a bold take.
They have a quarterback. They have a running back. Their O-line's not that bad. If they keep that O-line healthy, they're going to do fine. Their defense needs work. I don't know any of their familiar names. I know Melvin Ingram is gone. I don't know who else is still there.
Bosa.
They have Bosa. That's the only player. Defense-wise, that's the only player that I know that's still there is Bosa. Other than that, I know they have a good – I don't know if they have a good DB. I don't know his name, but he's solid. But offensively, let me retake that. Offensively, they're going to be better than the Rams if they keep that solid that roster going. Because, they have Keenan Allen, Williams, Eckler, Cook at tight end, Justin Herbert. That's a solid offense right there. They just need a little add a piece here and there, and another little sauce to it, and they'll be fine.
Hey, I mean, that was going to be my next question. What do the Chargers need to do next? Because, hey, I think it's going to be more time with Coach Brandon Staley. I think that's what it's going to be it too. He needs more time because, I mean, how do you expect a guy to come in his first year as a coach and expect for him to do it all, do all the play calling and carry the team?
If he keeps it going the way he went off this first year and, adds another important piece to it, you got to remember, the Chargers are in LA. There are players that want to live in LA. There are players that are ending their contracts with their team that could help the Chargers. So, hey, come to LA. We might not be the Rams, but we're pretty good. We have something going. We got a nice stadium too. Come on. So they're going to be adding pieces. And you know what? I think the Chargers are going to be taking their division within the next 2 or 3 years.
Ooh, they're going to beat the Chiefs?
They're going to beat the Chiefs. Obviously, the Chiefs aren't going to roll over on their back and, let them have their way. But at one point, the league's going to they're going to figure out Patrick Mahomes. They're going to figure out what Andy Reid's doing with that offense. It's hard. Even if they do figure it out, Patrick Mahomes pulls something out of his butt and does some crazy shit. That leaves us like, what? So
he always does.
But
he's like a magician.
Hey, dude, the Rams get beat by the Niners. The Chargers have the Chiefs, dude. It's always the Chargers always come out with one win out of that series. Always.
And if you remember last year, the first time that the Chargers, when they had Justin Herbert, the first time Herbert played against the Chiefs, went to overtime. Went to overtime, and it just went down to the wire in OT, and it came down to the Chiefs winning it in overtime on a field goal. And I mean, that's just the Chargers being Chargers. But you're making a good point. The Chargers definitely have the Chiefs' number, as we talked about it before. But yeah, man, I think the Chargers are pretty close to. My prediction was for them to finish second next season. Next season, they'll finish second or even first.
Just got to take care of that game against the Texans. That's an easy win. Yes, I am saying it. The Texans freaking suck. Nobody should lose. Nobody should be losing to the Texans. Nobody should be losing to the Lions or Jacksonville. You play those teams, those are easy W's. Those are the games where you do your business in the first half, put up a good number, and you throw in your backups. Hey, get some reps in. Do what you got to do. But here we go with this BS where they're like, oh, damn, the Texans messed up the Chargers.
Yep.
And you can't have that. That right there is the most embarrassing part of the Chargers season, besides taking a timeout when you shouldn't have.
They really should have beat the Texans in that game. I think that's where their season went south, just trying to rebound from that game. And they really brought that game with them against Las Vegas. And I think that's what's going to forever haunt them. But I think next season they're going to have a lot better.
Some against the Raiders, you know, at the end of the day, the Raiders aren't a bad team. The Raiders had a lot going on with them, from losing their head coach to their receiver doing some dumbass shit and killing a young innocent girl.
That's right, with the Corvette.
And the fact that team just stayed together, that's big. A lot of teams don't have that mentality to stay focused and continue with their season and make the playoffs. So I'm not going to take anything away from the Raiders. The Raiders did their part by staying focused throughout the game. You know, the Chargers played their game too, but at the end of the day, you know, you can't have those small mistakes when you're trying to make the playoffs. You can't be in the back of your mind, oh, well, if we tie, you know, we'll make it to the playoffs. No, you got to go in and do what you got to do. And that's why I think he took the timeout. Is like, hey, screw this. I don't want to make the playoffs because we're going to go in with the tie. No, I want to win this. I can respect that. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't work out for them. They lost, got sent home. The Raiders are in. The Boo-Boo Steelers are in because of that. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a learning season for Staley. Can't really ask for more. Not Sean McVay. Sean McVay came in hot, did what he had to do, figured out the league, figured how to beat big teams. But even in his first year, you didn't go far. We lost to the Falcons. And that was it. The next year, came back even stronger. Made it the Super Bowl. So, Staley, he's going to come back stronger with more knowledge. And the Chargers are going to make the playoffs next year. And not in a wild card. They might secure that first seed.
The number 1 seed?
Yeah, I'll say it.
Yeesh.
Because, I mean, who in the AFC can really, really say we're dominant?
I mean, Tennessee doesn't look that bad. Tennessee looks pretty strong, especially with Derrick Henry. How do you stop him?
They're strong, but, dude, at the end of the day, Ryan Tannehill's cheeks. He's butt cheeks, dude. They don't have a quarterback. They have a really good running back. They have a really great O-line, but at the end of the day, That guy's going to mess up sooner or later. Can't always rely on Derrick Henry. I mean, you can. You really can't always rely on Derrick Henry.
You can.
But no, dude, like, Patriots have Mac Jones. They're picking it up. I talked to somebody today, and they say that the Patriots are going to take it all. I don't see that happening because, well, I really don't see. Like, I don't see how. They're a good team. They started picking it up. You know, Bill Belichick is the GOAT, but Mac Jones is still a rookie. And he's going to make rookie mistakes, which is going to cost the Patriots to lose those games. So, in reality, dude, the Chargers only have to worry about, in the AFC, they only have to worry about the Chiefs, the Patriots.
Maybe Buffalo.
Josh
Allen can.
Okay, it's a good team, but they always have that downfall. Now I'm saying the Chargers can take this first seed if they make the right moves and bring the right players. And with Staley's experience in this first year as a head coach, I feel like he could change it, turn the program around, and go to the right in the right direction. You know, the Bengals, you know what, dude? It's going to be either the Bengals or the Chargers.
I'm not even going to deny you on that anymore, just because of how good Joe Burrow is as a quarterback. And this is the guy you want to build a franchise around. And Justin Herbert's the same guy, the same thing.
The same thing with Justin Herbert. You know, great kid, minds his business, does what he has to do. That's the guy you want to be led by. And that's where Staley is in a good position because of Justin Herbert. If it was another quarterback, you know, I'd be like, you know what, the Chargers suck. Can't really do much. It is what it is. They're just going to keep having that trash season, go 500, and call it a day. But with Justin Herbert and, you know, the way he plays, how smart he is, you could build a pretty damn good team around that guy.
And I mean, as we were talking about it before, like, you've got Austin Eckler, a running back that you can build around. You have a great receiver in Keenan Allen, and you also have great defense that you could build around as well with Bosa. So almost in every position, you almost have a guy that you can build your team around. I just think another year of experience for Herbert, another year of experience for Staley.
That's why I said in the next 2 or 3 years, the Chargers are going to be running the division. And they're going to be fighting for that number 1 seed.
Could end up fighting with Cincinnati. Don't even know how it's going to be like in the future. But as of now, you guys can also catch the AFC Wild Card games this weekend, Saturday. We've got 2 games, and the rest of the slates will be on Sunday. So your weekend is already made, folks. Saturday, Sunday, full weekend of football. What else can you ask for? It's set for you guys already. The NFL already has the weekend set for you. So that's all the time we have left here on Sideline Sports Podcast. We thank you all so much for tuning into this one. If you guys like this episode, please give the episode a thumbs up. Also, hit the subscribe button down below. We're on the road to subscriber number 400. We're almost there, guys. And while you're at it, give some love to Hector Aguayo, my cousin. Follow him in all of his social media platforms, and follow Sideline Sports Podcast on our social media platforms. But as always, thank you so much for coming on, Hector. I'll text you right after the show. But I'm Alex Naveca from Sideline Sports Podcast, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast, a source of your SoCal sports news, and, of course, via Sideline Sports Media. Have a good one, everybody, and enjoy the NFL playoffs.
Mahalo.